What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. When was the last time I had done any sort of MX vs ATV Reflex content? It's been a hot minute. I actually might have to go back through my own videos to try and find when the last Reflex video I done was. So I miss like just arcade motocross games. I really do. Like fun ones, that is. You know, we've got two at the moment. We get a new one each year in the shape of Monster Energy Supercross. We got Legends, that's like an ongoing thing where it gets updates here and there. But I miss games like Reflex and Alive, etc. Even like Encore to an extent was okay. All Out, I played All Out once or twice. Wasn't the biggest fan in the world of it. But unfortunately, we're never going to get a Reflex 2. You know, it's not happening. But thankfully for us, there are still people out there making tracks for this game. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't one of those. This is a track called Cyclone, created by MX Warlord, and this is a track that dates back to 2014. So we've gone digging through the archives a little bit here. However, I am of the firm opinion that if you are looking for absolutely outrageous fantasy tracks, MX Warlord is the man for the job. I think he's the undefeated king when it comes to just these absolutely unrealistic, huge jumps, falling 300 feet out of the sky tracks. I think they're so fun, and there is definitely a time and a place for them. I'm interested to see what I'm going to do here, because I've probably not touched Reflex since the last video which I've done, which, actually thinking about it now, it might have been the video where I took part in the competitive Reflex race that Croft hosts, which I don't think I'm going to do again, because I've realised how cheeks I am in comparison to other people at this game. If you've been putting off buying that new MX gear, or you're just looking for some new daily MX related clothing, then head on over to fxrracing.com. Code MXPR_Lins15 at checkout will give you 15% off all motocross and lifestyle products. This code is applicable to the European, Swedish and Norwegian websites, and not Canada or the USA. And whilst I've got your attention, you may as well subscribe to the channel. It's just one click of a button and it puts a big old smile on my face. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Speaking of cheeks, am I going to get over this jump? Stretch it. Yes. Okay, right. Didn't get the best run through the whoops there. This is a very long track. I've done about half a lap just now to make sure that all is working properly, because, you know, with old games like this, you never know what could go wrong. I spent like 10 minutes just trying to get the game to launch in the first place. It was not having it. Every single time I pressed play on Steam, it was throwing me a different sort of error message. So verified my game files, reloaded the like track manager, and it worked okay in the end. I think the track manager might have been causing me some issues here, which I always get people asking how they go about installing these tracks. And if I'm being completely honest, I cannot remember where I got this track manager from. It was from a random YouTube video quite a long time ago. If it's not in the description of this video, I really do apologise. I wasn't able to find it, but I'll do my best to try and locate it for you. But yeah, essentially in-game, if I'm in the main menu, I'll just press F11 on my keyboard, and it'll bring up this like track manager, where all of the latest tracks get automatically updated to it, and all I have to do is click one button. I've not got to mess around with files or anything like that at all. So it's a really handy program. But yeah, in regards to like tracks still being made for this game, just this month alone, you know, just in June, there was. Oh, hang on, I'll have this. I'm not going to go over this, am I? Oh, we could be in a world of pain here. I need to suffer through this section. Just in the month of June, Mr. C4 has released like 3 or so different tracks. He's done a straight rhythm, he's done a national track, he's done another national track, I think, as well. And he is someone who I've actually seen in the Earthworks MX Bikes like track making Discord, where I've been asking all my questions about MX Bikes track making stuff. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that he might transfer his talents over from this game into MX Bikes, because we've already had a bunch of players that make tracks in this game that have blessed us on bikes. We've got Red Rider, is probably the most notable. We have also had Mr. Vikeli, who made Sipu. He's made a bunch of good tracks on here, and most notably, notoriously? One or two. Wakeli Compound, which I'm not sure if I ever done a video on. I know I downloaded it and played it at some point. Brilliant track. Really good. Yeah, there's a bunch of others as well. I'm not going to go through listing absolutely everybody. I know as well, I received an email before from Mr. Jamie T, who is most famous for his track Rubicon in this game. I think Rubicon's probably like one of the most famous tracks in the whole of Reflex. And I do actually have a version of Rubicon in my MX Bikes, because he was trying to get it made and put into that game, but it's kind of disappeared off the face of the earth now. I'm not sure if he realised how absolute garbage MX Bikes uphill physics were, and that it's not really doable. But for the most part, it was a fun track when I tested it out. I hope that comes to fruition one day. And I just miss games like this, man. I really, really do. They're so fun. They're a nice like escape from the realism every now and then. And the fact that multiplayer still works on this game on PC, I can't speak for console. I'm not sure what the situation is there. Absolutely blows my mind, especially for companies like this, which I mean, didn't they go bust at one point? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm surprised the servers are still paid for, still up and running, but here's what it is. I don't think I'll ever do anything competitive on this game again. I remember my old days playing MX Online tournaments on PlayStation, like towards the back end of Reflex and all throughout MXOS Live's lifespan. That was like my thing, you know, every single day I'd do a competitive race on there. For people that are too young to know what MX Online tournaments was, take my MXB from MX Bikes right now, whack it over on MXOS Reflex, it's the same thing. You know, it's a little bit different back then. They didn't have like dedicated servers or anything like we have on bikes now. It was a case of people would volunteer to host lobbies, and then you get allocated to each person's lobby, and if you can't join, you try and get in someone else's because of the connection, etc. It was very boofed, come to think about it, but it worked. You know, it was really, really good fun, and a humbling experience as well, because young Lins, for like every single online server that I would ever join, I would absolutely clap cheeks. You know, I was such a sweat at these games when I was a kid. I remember doing some online tournaments, and there was one or two people there still that would absolutely destroy me as well. Like a couple seconds like faster, but then just so disgustingly consistent too. And then I feel like I really came into my... Oh, God. Please respawn me in a good place. Okay, it did. Right, WMX Warlord. I didn't expect it to send me there. Yeah, I got put in my place a few times, but then in Alive, I was like the king. I was popping off. I was so try-hard that my PlayStation name was MXVS80_Alive. That is how like sweaty I was as a child. I literally had the game's name as my PlayStation name. I did have a few times where people thought I was like a game dev, which I'm not surprised with a name like that, but yeah, it was funny. I remember going around, no, other way around, my friend coming around my house before, and I hopped into a Supercross race on Lexington, on Live. So Lexington's one of the DLC Supercross tracks, and I hopped in there, and someone was in like voice chat, and he was like, "Oh my god, it's that guy! Like he's top of all the leaderboards for lap times, etc." And I do have a video that I recorded on my phone years and years and years ago on a different YouTube channel of taking like just a quick recording of my monitor, just skipping through all of the different like bikes and ATVs on the Lexington tracks. I had the world record lap time on PlayStation for every single type of bike or quad. So 125, 250, 450, etc. I was such a sweat. It's so funny. I suppose that just kind of goes back to my enjoyment of all things motocross games. It's probably why I miss it so much. You know, that was my childhood. I'm sure it was many of you guys watching as childhoods as well. A lot of you are probably a little bit on the younger side, which I think if you was all like 10 years older, the views on these Reflex videos that I done would probably be a lot better, because you'd all have that same level of nostalgia that I and some of the other people watching do. I would still... I don't know how much Reflex is on Steam these days, but if you are getting a bit bored of the usual like bikes or sim and you want something a bit arcadey that is, in my opinion, still better than the current AAA titles, go and give it a go. You know, as I said, there's still custom tracks being released to this day. They are really, really good fun. You get some weird and wonderful stuff. You get some replica tracks here and there as well. I mean, the whip animations, they still look better than anything we have these days, which is quite disgusting to say. Not all tracks are this kind of weird and wacky and over the top and overscaled. There are some good realistically scaled tracks as well, where you got to take your time, pick your way through. There's national tracks, supercross tracks, enduro tracks, free rides, and anything you can think of, it's there in this game. And I mean, depending on how well this is received, I wouldn't even mind getting just back into it a little bit, to be honest. Just going through a list of tracks, seeing what tickles my fancy. If there's any tracks that you guys really want me to play that you don't think I've covered before, do let me know. I'd be happy to give them a go and download them. I don't want to just do like... I don't want it to turn into like track walk videos. I feel like that should be like ripping off the SYS channel from back in the day when they was doing a bunch of Reflex track walks. But yeah, just a little ride and chat every now and then is all good fun, just like we do on bikes too. I absolutely boofed this This, I'm guessing this is just like meant to be a double section. Bit harder when you have to check up and time things on this game rather than just absolutely sending them. Yeah, overall, like massive W. And I don't know if Mr. Warlord is still about on the scenes these days. As I say, this track was made in 2014. I don't really know if he's released anything in recent years at all. There's very few and far between tracks that do get released on this game these days. I think there's about like 6 or so that I counted in 2023 that got released. But then, to be fair, anything that does get released these days, you can kind of count on it being high quality, because it's usually the real die-hard Reflex fans that have been around for a very long time that still want to see the game being successful and popping off. And in my honest opinion, until we get a really good replacement for this game, I don't think it's going to go away anywhere. You know, it's very old. But at the same time, so is a game like MX Simulator, and Sim's still about, going like fairly strong. So I think it's just due to the lack of competition in the motocross industry. I mean, unfortunately, we have chosen a bit of a niche community for us to enjoy our video games on. But we love our motorbikes, we love our dirt bikes in general. So we're just going to keep playing what we enjoy. Can I skim through this time? God, I'm not sure if that's meant to be a whip section or if it is meant to be like rollers, etc. That is absolutely brutal. And do we rate the drip, by the way? The old Suzuki combo. Unfortunately, my contractual obligation with FXR, I'm hoping it doesn't get voided for not running any FXR gear. But I'm sure you can understand why, because it didn't bloody exist in this game. Oh, maybe. Oh, actually, something I've never done on this game. I don't know how to go about installing them, to be honest with you. But different, just rider skins, like gear and stuff. I've never downloaded like bike or like rider skins ever. It's purely been tracks. So maybe there has been some FXR stuff made in this game. I mean, if you would like to be a very helpful individual, if you know how to go about doing this stuff, are there any websites still that exist for downloading like paints, etc.? I know that a bunch of them like shut down from way back. I don't know if Reflex Central is still a thing. Absolutely no idea. But yeah, let me know. I'd be very grateful for a little bit of advice on that. I'd love to run some FXR here in this game if it exists at all. Try and just fly the flag, you know, support the boys. I did also, sorry, by the way, that there is going to be that kind of like 20-30 second interlude in each and every video, like about FXR and my code, etc. I think it just helps me, you know, like the more people that go through there, the more like FXR in the EU gets eyes on it. Hopefully the more purchases, which I get a little bit of commission off. Thank you very much in advance if you have done anything like that. And it's just a win-win scenario for me all around. So I hope you don't mind taking 20-30 seconds out of your videos just to announce those sort of things. You can always just, you know, skip forwards quickly just a little bit. Just again, throw that out there, because I know sometimes ads can be a little bit annoying, but I'm just doing what I gotta do, you know, to make a living. So it is what it is. I think this track's very fun. I don't know if the laps are working or if the first lap just doesn't count, because I am still on lap 1 out of 4, which just should not be the case. But I am going to end it there. You get the gist. It's weird, it's wacky, it's wonderful. So thank you very much, Mr. Warlord, for creating this, if you ever do watch this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. Recommend me any Reflex tracks you want to see in the comments down below. And if you are aware of how to do paints and bike skins, etc., please also drop that. I'll be very grateful. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you guys are up to. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.